moments of calm, nothing left to be found. A mirror right in front of me, that's where I found an empty glass, reflecting that's the truth. It's telling words not to be told. I need the mask. I'm a shapeshifter at Post Masquerade, heart in both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a shapeshifter, chained down to my core. Please don't take off my mask, my place to hide.
Hello. How's it all going, people? Just taking a couple seconds just before the stream. Fucking say hi. How's it fucking going, people? I'm doing fine. I got my COVID vaccination and stuff. My dog's
I can't
barking.
tell you
Presumably at me,
how to
which,
see
you know,
me.
fair, I deserve it.
Just a cage of bones. There's nothing
This
inside.
time, I'm trying
Will
out a
it
little
always be
streams,
burning down the walls?
doing just little
Is there a
one
way
stream
for me to
game
break?
type things.
I'm a
You know, maybe
shapeshifter
sometimes I'll do like
at Post
2 hours.
Masquerade,
Probably not.
hide in both face and mind, all free for you to draw.
And,
I'm
yeah.
a shapeshifter, have no
fifth
face to
stream.
show.
I'm doing
Please don't take off my mask, my
Follow
disguise.
just ass. Like a catchy's ass on the please wait screen. That's a fucking nice ass. But yeah, I think we're ready to begin. Welcome to Apollo Just Ass. Fucking, I don't know what I'm doing with this, but I'm gonna do it. Okay, like 5 seconds ago, it was fucking freezing in here, and now it's fucking the Sahara Desert. Showdown time. Yeehaw, mother bitcher. You lose. Ugh. Eek. Is blood. Cards. Amazing. I seem to be in a little bit of trouble. Something like that. Dead. Someone hit him hard. Me? Please. The cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands, should it come to that. Ball. Panicked. Palm sweaty. I can admit it. I'm nervous. Good morning. I am man. Good morning, sir. I don't know what I'm gonna do for Apollo's voice. Good morning, sir. You look tense, Justice. Wound up tight? Wound up, sir? No, I'm loose. I'm fine. I think I have a bit of cold. Wait, what? No game audio? What? What the fuck? Did it... It swapped fucking... It's... Wait, what? No, it still isn't going. What? Properties? What? What? What the fuck? Why isn't it recording the audio? What? What? It still isn't recording. What? That makes no fucking sense. Properties, fucking... Maybe I have to go there. Nope, still isn't fucking working. I did not account for this. Maybe it's something in the configure. Let's just see audio. No, it still isn't recording. Configure audio. What the fuck? What? I don't get why it isn't recording the game audio. Maybe I have to audio output capture. Maybe. Oh. I just had to add a new device to the audio. So, for some reason, OBS wasn't recording the audio from the desktop for this, but since I just had to add a new device entirely to make it work. What the fuck? There is audio, right? It's showing up on OBS. Okay, chat, can you tell me if there's audio now? Chat? Hello? Chat? Chat? Chat, please. Please. Oh, okay. There we go. That screeching noise. Is that your voice? Is it to put it? I suppose it's to be expected. Fuck. I'm mixing up my post-it notes. Why are you using post-it notes? To speak to you, dumbass. I never learned how to speak properly as a child. I don't even know how to say precious. Oh shit, I said it. Your first trial and it's a homicide. I guess justice doesn't smalt. Smalt? The fuck is a smalt? Justice doesn't start small, eh? Sir, are you having a stroke? You know, I might just be having one. I'm fine. I got up at 5 a.m. to do my chords of steel voice workout. I'm fine. I might be a little sick though. Ah, that explains it. I did detect a certain rasping quality to it. Fuck. Yeah, Apollo is now just Tails from Sonic OVA. Sonic! Shut up, Tails. I overdid it again. You fucking Edgeworth. As you know, your client today is a good friend of mine. Beefus Blongus. I think that's his name. I never actually learned. Now, I wouldn't want to let him down, if you get my drift. But there wasn't a drift in Sonic Forces. Fuck you. Drift gotten, sir. I'm all over that. As it happens, I dined with him on the night of the murder. Because I'm the murderer. We can't let this case fall through. Yes, I'm fine, sir. Also, why is there a picture of a fucking bald line? I'll take a shot every time you fall. You'll be dead in 2 minutes. One more thing. Don't you say... Take a shot. Fucking just take a shot. Maximilian Pegasus? What the fuck? What? Fucking someone on Discord just messaged me Maximilian Pegasus. What does it mean? What does it mean? The antagonist of Yu-Gi-Oh! Is exactly like this man. What the I guess, me, when I edit this all together, put in a picture of fucking Maximilian Pegasus? Editing me, just tell me if I got it right. Just tell me. not me, my friend. Because I got no clue what this guy looks like. Okay. Don't you say you're fine quite so much. People might take you the wrong way. Or take you out. I don't know. Gulp. Why did you just say gulp? I'll be preparing our case. You might want to introduce yourself to the client. My name is Apollo Justice. If it isn't clear already, I'm a new attorney. And today's my first trial. Not that I'm worried or anything. The defendant has been accused of... Moida? My boss wants to help him out, of course, and so do I. I mean, there's no way he did it. Not him. No way. This fucking... That's him, isn't it? It's Nicolas Cage. No. Fucking, it's the homeless guy I met on the street last week. Whoa! Hello everyone, my name is Markiplier. Sorry, I accidentally talk like that sometimes. Good morning. Morning. It's up to you today. That's a Persona 5 character, bitch. I mean, yeah, is this fucking Iowa from fucking Persona 5? Fucking first trial, nervous, meeting him, cardiac arrest. Fucking Half-Life dying sound like Freeman. God. I think I'm supposed to say something. Help. Say beefaroni. So you're... Fine, I'm fine. Ah, Mr. Fine, is it? I did remember you having an odd name. Well, we're off to a great start. Sonic! Are You sure you're okay? I mean, with me? Mr. Gavin's a top-notch defense attorney. He's your friend, so why? What's even going on? I'm so confused. I don't fucking know. You'll see. You can do it. Be confident. And show them your Gucci. Look, I don't know what I haven't formulated a joke yet. I'm really sorry this happened to you. I mean, It's time, shall we? Yes, sir! I gotta stop with this voice for Apollo. It's gonna get so annoying. But when did Phoenix Wright become homeless? First trial. Here comes Justice. Fuck! Get ready for the one joke that I have for this entire thing. The one joke. Get ready for it. It's coming. The court is now in session. Hello, I'm the nostalgic critic. I remembered it so you don't have to. My word. Why is your hair so long? I have been waiting to use that joke since last night when I made it. The prosecution is ready, Your Honor. The defense is, fine. I mean, ready, Your Honor. Mind going blank. Don't panic. Too late. Your name was Mr. Justice League, right? And this is your first trial? Yes, Your Honor, but I'm fine, really. Are you quite sure? Your voice sounds a bit strained. Okay, shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up with your I'm ruffling so much right now. Like, you could have done better. Apollo was coughing at my statement just there. Mr. Gavin? Yes, Your Honor. I was under the impression that you would be heading up this case. That was my intention, yes. I am very suave, and definitely not going to kill you. However, a defense attorney must always accede to his client's wishes. My client's fuck. Your Honor, I'm sorry, I always mix up these big words like, you know, specifically, and yeah, how is the judge still alive? Is he just immortal? I also mix up words like pool and precious. Well, of course he wants justice. Ha 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 ha. But to entrust his case to fuck, I think it's contagious. To entrust his case to this greenhorn? Why? I do not need to, fuck. I do not exaggerate when I say that you're the best defense attorney in town, Mr. Gavin. You say, well, doing the case for the best fucking attorney in town. What the fuck is going on with him? Why is he homeless? Why is he in Persona 5? Why did he sell guns to Joker? And no, I'm not talking about the Joker from Persona 5. I'm talking about the Joker from Batman. That's right, Batman! Phoenix Wright gave me this gun. No. How did you get this gun?
It's all because of the dank memes and society.
Okay, so Gavin's got trial experience, fine, but does he have cords of steel? Why am I the devil? Then let's begin. The defendant may enter the courtroom. What is even? This is truly unfortunate turn of events. I'm sorry you had to meet again under these circumstances. Long time no see, Mr. Right? Oh my gosh, it's the Phoenix, right? I didn't suspect a thing. Oh my gosh. Let's put the past behind us, shall we? Okay, that kind of sounded like fucking anime got it. Or Godot, fucking Godot. Fucking love that guy. These days I'm merely Phoenix Wright, piano player. The what? Huh? I ask the most similar professions of all time. Lawyer, pianist. Mr. Wright, how could this have happened? I won't speak of it further then. If the prosecution would be so kind as to charge... As to explain the charges, Mr. Payne. Fuck!
To think I saw you enter this courtroom a fresh attorney, and now I'll see you leave in chains.
I have no consistency with Winston Payne. 'Cause he's supposed to make you feel pain. Ah, Winston Payne. Subtle as ever, I see.
Ahem.
That actually hurt my voice. That ahem hurt my voice so much. Have you ever wondered if you're gay, but you're not gay, but you still want to... Hi, Siphon. What? What?
The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian
Oh wait, shit. Russian? The crime occurred at the Borscht Bowl Club, a Russian restaurant. I am Russian now.
The defendant, Phoenix Wright, took the victim, a customer, and he hit him, wham, on the head, smack, killed him cold.
A customer at the restaurant, you say? And the defendant, you say he was...
The pianist for the club, it seems.
Have you ever realized that you could die in your sleep? What the fuck? What the fuck? I mean, yeah, but... What the fuck? I am so confused as to what this fucking...
The pianist for a club, it seems.
Phoenix Wright, a pianist? And yes, I'm definitely saying... Payne looks like someone from Damn Yu-Gi-Oh! How have we had two fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Comparisons in this so far?
This is the weapon that took the victim's life. A bottle of grape juice.
Yes, that's grape juice. That's definitely not alcohol. We can't have alcohol in this game about murders.
Grape juice is apparently our defendant's drink of choice.
The Bugmaster? I don't fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! But he's 60 years old. What the fuck? The court accepts the deadly bottle as evidence. That bottle is so deadly. Like, You're in the middle of a bank robbery. You're not threatening in any way, Mr. Killer Person Guy. Oh yeah? But I have this! Oh my god, it's grape juice. I fucking surrender. Something to note, Justice. All evidence is... Yeah, I fucking know this. Make a practice of checking it frequently. The court record? Right, I've heard of that. I know. I played the other three. That motherfucking Team Rocket James impression. I didn't even realize I was doing a James impression, but yeah. The victim was a customer. Why do I get the sudden urge to steal Pikachu? So the victim was a customer at this restaurant. But who was this, Shady Smith fellow? Fucking Slim Shady fucking motherfucker.
We believe he was a traveler, Your Honor. Gorsh!
Why did I say Gorsh? I wanted to say like a Jet the Hawk thing, but I just fucking Gorsh. A traveler?
According to his passport, he'd been out of the country for a number of years. He called fast. And the fastest thing, I don't know any Jet the Hawk quotes. He had only returned to this country recently, though his place of residence is unclear.
And he had some sort of connection with the defendant. Gorsh.
That too is unclear at present, Your Honor. We believe they first met at the Borscht Bowl Club on the night of the crime.
If they had only just met, then why the murder? Perhaps the victim slighted the defendant's piano playing.
That doesn't appear to have been the case. Gah! No, the motive had nothing to do with the defendant's lack of playing skill. At least, not piano playing. I'll let this photo explain what I meant.
I'm so cool. I'm like fucking Michael Jackson. Although, Michael Jackson before all the, like, dropping babies out of windows shit. Like, what the fuck, Michael Jackson? Like, fucking hell, what the fuck?
As we can see, a game of poker was in progress at the scene of the crime.
Wait a second. Isn't poker gambling? That's a crime in and of itself.
Indeed, it appears our defendant has fallen to become the basest sort of criminal.
I would have threw my DS if I had this game. This is everything I hate. Damn dialogue. It's true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet that was only a game in the purest sense. A competition, Your Honor.
A competition? Is it possibly a race to find out who's the fastest? Gah!
I fucking don't know what I'm doing. A test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards. Wait. Fucking heart of the cards. I want to play this game, not read. I already pretend to do that in school, so why would I do it in my free time? It's a duel! This really is Yu-Gi-Oh! Only the cards, their backs wreathed in blue flames, know the final outcome. It's time to fucking bitch slap these motherfuckers. I was about to say duel, but I didn't want to be cliche. What the fuck are all of you talking about? What the fuck is a Yu-Gi-Oh?
The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor.
To the shadow room.
I'm gonna banish the defendant to the shadow. The cards on the table had blue backs, Your Honor. I believe the defense was waxing poetic in an attempt to mystify the president and impress women.
That will be our first order. Fuck! That was the wrong voice. That will be our first order of business here then. I am an old man. If you want to get your grandfather's soul back, meet in the Duelist Kingdom. To find out more about this fatal game of cards. Very well, defendant. This has just turned into a fucking episode of Yu-Gi-Oh! You will testify to the court about the poker competition held at the night of the crime. My pleasure. This is it. Oh, nice to finally see you speaking, Apollo. Also, I also have a golden eye. I can see your soul. Also, what did your parents... What is this chat evolved into? This is it, my first trial. Here goes nothing. Okay, finally getting to the testimony, and I'm lightheaded. I'm a pianist by trade. And no, I'm not gonna say that correctly. I'm just gonna keep on saying pianist instead of pianist. I'm a... Yet I can hardly play at all. Don't worry, you're a fucking pianist. My real job is to take on interested customers over at the poker table. The room where we played, and the competition in there is... fuck. I'm just gonna pretend like I intended to do that for the character, but I definitely didn't. The room where we play in the competition, in there is our club's... The club's main attractions. Fuck! The rules are simple. We play a game of poker using 2 decks of cards. That's all it is. A game. And our customers are happy. Ha! Old man, I have a pyramid. That really can't do shiza, but that's besides the point. I will now transform a 10-year-old into an 18-year-old. What? A pianist who can't play piano.
Better than a defense attorney who can't defend.
I lost one case, dude. And I intended to lose that fucking case, you dickhole. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Right, Your Honor. My first cross-examination. Don't blow it. Are you alright? You're sweating bullets. Do you have a gun? This is exactly how the anime was. Honestly, based off of the things that I've seen, I'm not even gonna question it. Bullets! Where? It's a figure of speech, Justice. Your voice sounds strained and raspy, too. My brain... I gave him the wrong voice! My brain feels strained and raspy, sir. You've watched me perform cross-examinations many times. Though you've never done one yourself, have you? Care for a refresher? What to do? Should I ask Mr. Gavin to refer for cross-examine? No, fuck. No need for help, sir. I think I've gotten this one covered. I think you'd better do more than that. More than think. You know it or you do not. I'm fine. The cords of steel are ready for battle. Not sure how cords could battle, but okay. My weapons, press and present. So, was it show and tell? Find any inconsistencies and lies in the testimony and reveal them to the court. That is cross-examination. Learn it, know it, do it. Wait, no. Learn it, know it, do it. Fucking Palpatine. I am the court. Fucking inconsistencies, lies, Phoenix Wright. Next time on fucking... I don't know. As if Phoenix Wright would never lie, and it's up to me to prove it. I can't believe they copied cross-examinations from dang grandpa. I call it dang grandpa because I honestly don't know how to fucking spell that word. Pronounce that fucking word. Dang grandpa.
The defense may begin the cross-examination.
The competition. Okay, you know, I gotta fucking investigate. Okay, death was... Okay, April 17th, between 1 and 1:45, okay, 30-minute period. Cerebral hemorrhage resulting from blood and force trauma to forehead. Could a fucking wine bottle really do that? Okay, and obviously, how long did I yearn for one of these? Oh shit, we can fucking look at this shit? We can fucking... Wait, what the fuck? There's a number in the screen. Why do I get the strange feeling that this is gonna come back? What the fuck? Why can we examine this? Okay. Hold it! You can hardly play? Oh, I play sometimes. Customers demand it.
Play for us, monkey, play!
So I play them one song. That's usually all they want. That was supposed to be a boast just now? The title of pianist is a mask, a respectable face I wear for the world at large.
Then why are you really at the Borscht Bowl Club?
They pay you just to play poker? That would seem to be the case. I'm a professional after all.
Bah! Do I detect pride in that statement? It's just hard for an honest, hard-working member of society, like me, to imagine.
Society. Yes, your imagination was always a bit limited, Winston.
What?
I've played poker for 7 years in that little room. You know, I just want to fucking... How old is he? What the fuck? Have you ever looked at yourself and say, hey, I'm kind of fine. How old is he? Jesus Christ. I have been... Oh wait, chat, how are you? And I've never lost. Once. What? You see why the customers come now? Defeat the undefeated poker champion. It's quite a draw. That is, I'm quite a draw. I'm so fine. All the gay guys want me. He's the king of games. I'm tempted to make him my usual Markiplier character. But no, that's exclusive to the Pokemon games. I'm not bringing a Markiplier into this. Wait, you've never lost once? Not even one time? As I said, I'm a professional. He's played poker for 7 years and not lost once? Is that even possible? You gotta fucking speed this up. The room and the crime scene photo. I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit. Crime scene photo is an attraction? It has quite a history, actually. The Borscht Bowl Club used to gather a spot for black... Used to be a spot for gathering... A gathering spot for black market types. Fuck, my cards are all over the place. You use cards to organize my thoughts, yes. But black market? In the past, things like the black market are only on the silver screen nowadays. Suffice it to say that there were a lot of deals being made under the table. Right there in that room.
A smoky room, gambling hoods, you know.
Fucking hell.
Just looking at this picture makes me feel bad.
The bosses gather around the table, cutting deals safe from the eyes of the law. The law. Meanwhile, a goon keeps watch through a small window. I can practically picture it now. That window does look like it would be good. Oh shit, it's not fucking Phoenix. That window does look like it would be good for keeping a lookout. I'm bad at reading out loud. The best thing my teacher ever told me was that being real humans are the reasons the planet is dying, and I replied with, so we're all suicidal? What the fuck? I mean, kind of, but what? The room had a few other tricks to it, though it was common knowledge to our regulars. At any rate, they come to play poker in a room steeped in history. Despite the dark past, it was just good, clean fun. Two decks of cards. A simple measure to prevent cheating. If you alternate two decks, no one can slip in any cards.
There's something else I noticed. In addition to the cards on the table, there are some lying scattered on the floor.
Precisely. The cards on the table, the cards upon the floor, each one forming a complete deck. A crime scene painted in blue by a sad sweep of cards. It's poetic, really. Was the Yu-Gi-Oh character like this? Incidentally, we used two types of cards in the club. One deck of cards was red, and the other blue. No real fun joke. It's like fucking Ruby and Sapphire. Fucking. Yes, please, more homosexual. Oh. For a second, I was like, what's that in reference to? But then I was like, oh, my comment earlier about fucking. My voice today just can't fucking. I'm not coughing because I'm sick or anything. I'm just. My throat is just not having much fun today.
As I recall in poker, you make 5 card hands.
Well, yeah, you typically have 5 fingers on a hand.
I can see how it would be easy to cheat.
Heh. Yes, a game of hands. Technically, every game is a game of hands, except for fucking kickboxing. Although, even I'm not sure. I've never kickboxed.
This completion you're talking about...
Competition?
I believe the court understands the nature of this game sufficiently.
That's right. It was a simple game after all.
Are you sure?
Huh?
People are not murdered over simple games, Mr. Justice. Defendant, you were in the room at the very moment of that the crime occurred. Yet you claim no connection to the crime.
Now that's strange.
What's strange?
I was testifying about the competition that night. Asking me about the crime at this point is against the rules, Your Honor. Of course, I expected to hear a cry of objection from the defense. I completely forgot that one's... I completely let that one slip by.
Don't despair yet, Justice. Sir?
Right, there's something I had, made clear. Namely, your connection to the case at hand. And I'd like to hear it from you. Sure, why not?
Very well, the defendant will amend his testimony.
Just one little press, and I've got myself a whole new testimony. That was like 5. Okay. I pleaded silence regarding the murder, but I never touched the murder weapon. So you say you didn't touch the murder weapon? This grape juice bottle. And yes, it's grape juice. It's not alcohol. Don't think it's alcohol. Why do you say it like that, Justice? Right? So I said.
Something the matter, Mr. Justice?
Squawk! Too bad our new defense attorney never learned how to play dumb!
What is this? Ooh, Mr. Payne?
I examined the bottle in question, you see, and it was covered in the defendant's fingerprints.
I have a finger!
No need to shout, Mr. Justice. I can hear you just fine. And yes, you do have a finger.
Excess yelling can damage the judge's ears in our case. But what about my cords of steel? Anyway, what's so strange about the fingerprints on the bottle in a restaurant?
Well, that's true. The prints...
They won't prove anything if they were normal fingerprints.
Huh?
But the fingerprints on the murder weapon are upside down.
Upside down? What does that mean?
It means he was holding the bottle inverted, and there can be only one reason for that. Yes! To brain someone with the bottle.
Ugh! I'm a fucking bunny. Mr. Gavin, I think things just turned for the worse. Oh, I see no problem, Justice. Huh? The only thing that matters is the truth. And the fact that everyone in this fucking game is gay. There's a reason for everything, you see.
Defendant, can you explain the fingerprints on the bottle to the court?
I stand by my plea of silence regarding the murder. For now. Mystery.
Not very cooperative, are you? This could hurt your case.
I'm sure he isn't cooperative because he's hiding something. There must be some reason.
Your Honor, you seem to have forgotten something.
And what might that be, Mr. Gavin?
On the night of the crime, who was it that reported the murder to the police?
Reported...
Well, that was the defendant, Mr. Wright, but still that...
Really?
Yes, well, according to the case file. The murder was reported from near the scene by a call from the defendant's cell phone.
Near the scene?
Let's take a look at the diagram of the murder scene, shall we? The victim was murdered in a small room in a basement two floors down from ground level. Of course, cell phones can't get reception so far down. The defendant used the stairs in this hallway to go above the ground. The call came from the first floor of the restaurant.
I see, and this phone was the one that made the call. I've completely lost the judge voice. Right cell phone added to the court record. The defendant could have just fled the scene of the crime if he so chose. I'm gonna fucking investigate this shit. Huh? Wow, these batteries are being held in here with a piece of tape. He should buy a new one. Maybe he can't afford it, or maybe he just doesn't care. Yes. Both. I think. Yet he fulfilled his duty as a citizen and reported it to the authorities. And yet you claim he's being uncooperative? Nice save, Mr. Gavin. I'd better not waste this. I think the prosecution toyed with our client long enough for the time being.
Toyed? No, I assure you, it's more serious about...
What was it you said? The defendant was in the room at the very moment that the crime occurred? Now, how can you possibly know this?
That's a good question. How indeed?
The answer is simple, Your Honor. The prosecution has a decisive witness.
You're as good as they say, are you? Fastest thing alive, my ass.
So, someone was in the room the night of the crime. That must have meant they witnessed the crime. Everything up until now has been a warm-up, Justice. Are you ready?
Very well, the prosecution may call its first witness to the stand.
Oh my fucking god.
The witness will state her name and profession.
Hold on just a moment. Where's the witness?
I surmise that she has been frightened by the defense's demonic-looking horns.
So I use a little hair gel. Relax, people.
Have no fear. If any horns point in the direction of this court, we'll cut them off.
You're sure?
I swear on my gavel, please come out.
Isn't violence against hair a crime, Your Honor? Well, if you're sure, it's okay. I'm giving her a Russian accent because Russian restaurant, and also she looks Russian.
Now the prosecution... Wait a minute. Will the prosecution care to explain this witness's, paraphernalia?
Yes. She's a professional, Your Honor. Those are merely the tools of her trade.
That would be...
My name is Olga Orly. I am an employee as a waitress in the Borscht Bull Club restaurant.
Then why the camera?
Of course, it is my pride to serve the borscht that is naming restaurant. But I also perform how is it said, other service. I guess one of the best days attorney characters played me. She looks like Caitlyn from Black and White. Well, actually, technically from Platinum, or was it Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum? I'm not sure.
I take what one of those services is taking the customer's pictures.
And nothing else. Like for example, this one.
That's the defendant.
Indeed, on the night of the murder.
Man in white hat. is one who has got kaput.
Indeed, that is the victim.
Oh, I love Haru from Persona 5. Daisy, don't get mad at me for saying that. It wasn't me who thought it up. Just, please don't get mad.
Indeed, that's the victim.
Why am I so fucking hunched over? Also, I thought I'd be shorter.
Order, order, and yes, you are shorter. That's quite a piece of evidence to casually drop onto our laps.
It is same way as I drop cold bowls of borscht onto laps of customers casually.
Then the court will casually accept this new evidence.
Olga's photo added to the court record.
Now, witness, where were you at the time of the murder?
I was in room. The hideout, we call it. Excuse me, the hideout? It is room where famous gangster, bad guy... Bad guy? How else are you supposed to pronounce that? Fucking bad guy. Gangster bad guy. I can't say that with a straight face. Was arrested. Is the room where murder took place. What? Bad guy. Your look of utter surprise. It is lovely. I will post by courtroom door later for you. Photos will be numbered, and you will write which ones you want copy of. So there were 3 people in the room at the time of the crime. It's time to crime. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Olga Orley, our witness. And so clearly the murderer. That or it's bad guy. Fucking bad guy. And if Mr. Wright isn't the killer, that means...
Very well, witness. You will testify to the court about the night's events.
Oh, wait, you said bad gay, not bad guy. It's bad gay. Yeah, I could see that working, bad gay. Since Russian. So yeah, it's probably bad gay. That night, a customer asked me to deal cards for game. It was cold. Both players played with hats on. The victim, he plays the whole time with his hats on, locket at his neck. Then last hand is done, but something terrible has happened. That man fluid victim is strangling him to death. No, he fucking didn't.
Incidentally, who won the game?
Isn't it obvious? The winner was the victim, Mr. Smith.
Goes to Washington? That's ridiculous. Because Mr. Wright can't lose. Look at my finger. Stick it up your nose. Justice. Maybe you can come up with a more legitimate objection. But he hadn't lost in 7 years.
Take it from me, kid. It happens. I didn't lose a case for my first 7 years as a...
I find that highly dubious. There's no way that you didn't lose any cases for 7 years.
Incidentally, I have some evidence here.
Huh.
These are the poker chips as they lay out at the very moment of the crime. The hand chips on the side belong to the defendant, Mr. Wright. Those far side belong to the victim, Mr. Smith.
Chips, you say? Very edible.
I'm just gonna fucking... I haven't investigated this yet.
Oh. What? The bottle is completely empty. Okay, I already kind of knew that. Grape juice. How long has it been since I drank grape juice? Apparently it's Mr. Wright's favorite drink. I wonder how it goes with borscht. Yeah, that seems like it's it. For now. I mean,
Yes, that's that poker is war. Your hand is your army, and chips are the spoils.
I know that. After all, in my youth, I was known as the poker head of courtroom number 3. Wanna fucking fight me, right?
I think he means poker face.
Looking at this picture, it does seem that most of the chips are on the victim's side of the table.
I want some fucking chips.
Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
I already know what the fucking... something terrible's happened. Started strangling him to death. He wasn't strangled. Oh, really? Strangled, you say? That's odd. Normal customers only choke on borscht. No, I mean this report shows the victim died of a blow to the head. Ack! Miss Orley, really now? Did you witness this crime? Eek! I fucking love that catching. It's clink, 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 clink.
Looking at the picture, it does seem like he was hit. He was still wearing his hat and everything.
Yeah, it's a fact that he was hit, Your Honor. Here's a photo we took of the victim with his hat off during your investigation.
Well, that's quite shocking, isn't it? His head certainly was hit.
Not sure I'm gonna use that. But I have seen it happen. The defendant, he lunged in at victim, his neck. Oh, really, Miss Orley? I think I've caught you in your own lie this time. Justice. I admire your enthusiasm, but perhaps you should think through this once more. What do you mean? I found a contradiction. There's only one thing in her testimony that troubles me.
Very well. It seems we should continue the cross-examination.
There's such a thing as thinking too much. This horse is dead. Let's stop beating it. There's such a thing as thinking aloud too much, too. Unlike customer... Played his hats on the victim. Look at his neck. Something terrible has happened. With bottle. What do you need to do? Only 3 people in the room at the time of the murder. The victim, Shady Smith, Mr. Wright, and Mr. Wright isn't the killer. Yeah, I know. I'm gonna start pressing. You were dealing cards. Do you do this often? I am doing this. If customer wishes, I serve anything. Borscht, cards, more borscht. It is my work.
It's good to hear that a place that hasn't forgotten the meaning of servants.
Welcome you to Borscht Bowl Club. There's borscht as warm as the waitresses. Thank you for not handing out the flyers during the cross-examination. It's already April. How could it be cold? Wait, shit, it is April. And also, fucking... Let me just pull up the weather app. It's currently 10 degrees Celsius. The fuck you talking about cold?
And the fuck you talking about not being cold? It's April and it's 10 degrees Celsius. Fuck you, Apollo. At Borscht Bowl, we have pride on rustic Russian restaurant theme. Outside it's city in spring, but inside it is always as cold as Mother Russia. No way am I going there. When it comes to hot borscht, cold is best seasoning, da. Locket on his neck. He doesn't have a locket here. I'm gonna fucking try it. Nope. Nope. With these fucking games, you always have to be like so fucking precise. With I hate to penalize you, Mr. Justice. Okay, I guess I'm just pressing. His locket. I believe it was good luck charm, da? He gripped it many times as he played that night.
Yes, he must have felt as though it might carry him through the moon and the stars. Though if it was small enough to fit around his neck, it wouldn't have much lift.
The defense would like a clarification about this locket we're talking about. I mean, a pendant with a picture in it, right? Not a rocket.
Of course, I knew that. It was probably a pendant shaped like a rocket. That's why she called it that.
No, a locket. It's considered a bad form to poke fun at the hard of hearing in our society. Hard of hearing or hard of understanding?
So what happened next?
Something terrible?
The defense will refrain from needless shouting.
Sorry, I need to seriously reconsidering this vocal training thing.
Now, Miss Orley, can you tell us what happened?
Oh, I was frightened. I was trembling with fear. You didn't say anything about hitting before. So sorry. I must be forgetting this.
Witness, you will take greater care with your testimony.
I am sorry, Your Honor.
And that clears up the discrepancy about the autopsy report, I believe. The defendant made to strangle his victim, then changed his mind and chose a simpler, blunter means to do the job. Yes, that sums it up nicely.
So he strangled him, then hit him. Something's fishy about all this. Go ahead, I believe in you, man. Let's leave it to me. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna create a save state. Fucking save state. I'm gonna fucking save state, then nope. Nope. It has to be some evidence. Nope. I'm completely lost. I know. Fuck. Oh, shit. There we go. Fucking finally. You know, there was one curious part in her testimony, just like Mr. Gavin said. But what does it mean?
Mr. Justice, would you care to explain when you're talking what you're thinking so intensely about... I don't fucking know.
Recall the testimony, Your Honor. The victim played with his hand on a locket at his neck, I believe she said.
I hope you aren't about to raise an objection to the witness's grammar.
No, but look at this photograph. Every time I look at this photograph. Every time I don't know the meme. I don't know the meme. Do you see a locket around the victim's neck? Well done, Justice. I'm impressed. I knew you'd be able to handle this. But what does it mean?
And who is this Maria?
If we are to believe this witness testimony as is, then the locket disappeared following the victim's death.
Lockets don't just disappear, Your Honor. It's quite simple when you think about it. If the locket is gone, someone must have taken it off, no? Taken it off? Wait, you don't mean... The defendant wasn't strangling the victim at all. He was taking off his locket. Wouldn't that explain it?
Ah! Eric! Defendant, what do you have to say to this? Say.
Yes?
I just noticed this, but you have something hanging around your neck, don't you?
Oh, you mean this? Yes, it's a locket with a photograph inside. A photo of my of your... Wait, what? You what? What? You have... What? Since fucking when? Come again? What?
Mr. Wright, you have a daughter?
We confirmed at the time of the arrest. The picture on the locket is indeed Mr. Wright's.
What? Since... What? Since fucking when? Since when? So Mr. Wright has a locket, too. Yeah, sure, that's the takeaway. Why don't I buy this just as and why don't I buy that this is just a coincidence?
Well, now, the result of the poker game led to the murder. Perhaps we should hear a bit more about the outcome of this game.
Further testimony won't really be necessary. It's clearly the defendant that lost badly.
Miss Orley, you will testify to the court about the game played between the victim and the defendant.
The game began. Fuck. The game began with 35,000 points. Unga. The game began with 3,500 points in chips for each man. House's chips come in two sizes, small and large. The one who was winning was the victim. For last hand, defendant play with all chips on table and lose. The moment was decided. Loss was decided. Defendant grabs bottle from table and.
Indeed. Looking at this picture, it does seem to be a one-sided game.
As the court knows, poker was the defendant's life. Failure must have been a bitter pill to swallow.
Ah, how many times have I heard these words? I done it in a fit of anger at the...
What? I didn't get time to read that.
A common tale, but true.
Methinks the judge watches too many old court movies. Mr. Wright said he hasn't lost in 7 years, so this testimony must be wrong. Am I gonna have to fucking do math or some shit? Let me just see. Okay, so each person starts with 35,000 points. And then that would mean that there are a total of 75,000. Not 35,000, but 3,500. And let's see. I don't know how the points work yet. I don't know how poker works. Are those usually the usual starting points? There weren't any special rules used? No, not special. Usual game, usual rules.
If each man begins with 3,500 points, then the total would be, exactly 7,000 points.
Please, this isn't calculus. Not even long division. Okay, house cups, 2 ramen, 2 sizes, small and large. Are the chips in this photo all the chips that were used? Of course. Something's fishy with these chips. Should I press harder? Nah, I think I'll leave it. No, fucking hell. Maybe you could explain a bit about these chips. Explain? What is there to be explained?
Poker chips are poker chips. They're not fish and chips. Not chip off the
Fucking... Thanks. Now that I've pressed her, I'd better ask something. What are these chips worth? Are they in dollars or rubles, even... Yet, as I have been saying before, it was game, not gambling. Hard perhaps for capitalists to understand. Hard for capitalists to understand. 2 types of chips, 100 chips, 100 points and 1,000 point chips. It's not money, da. Justice. Sir! Don't you find her comment interesting? In more ways than one, sir. I'd have it added to her testimony myself.
Well, does the defense want...
Yeah,
No! No! No!
I misclicked.
Fucking hell. Okay, present. No, not present. Do this again. Okay, yeah, I can speed up. Press harder. Fucking hell.
Always have it added to their testimony.
Add the testimony. Yes, I do think this deserves fudge. Fudge? The fuck is fudge? I do believe that this deserves further scrutiny. Add it to the testimony. God, I wish I was going. I knew where I was going with this. Okay, witness, if you would be so kind. Your Honor. Okay, 1 kind of chips. Okay, 2 kinds in all. I do think this deserves fudge. Okay. 2 types in all. Okay. So, assuming the large chips are the 1,000 points and the small chips are 100, then that would be 1,000, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, okay. 9. That's not fucking right. If there are only 7,000 points, then if the big chips, and then since he has this only, then Phoenix was winning. Assuming that we're looking at Phoenix's side in this photo. I'm gonna present. I was right, apparently. You're sure it was the victim who won? Absolutely sure?
It seems our new attorney's a bit confused. A glance at this picture is enough to tell you who won, if you're not in kindergarten.
Just for safety's sake, could you please explain the problem to the court?
Of course, Your Honor. In this photo, I see small chips, and I see large chips. Tell me, which were worth 1,000 points?
Why, the big ones, of course. Duh!
Oh, I thought so too, but the totals don't add up.
The totals?
Let's review what the witness told us. Each man started with 3,500 points in chips. And the combined total value of the chips was 7,000 points.
Yes. If my calculations are correct, let's see. 3 plus 1 carry the 5.
They are, Your Honor. Now, look at the photo of that allegedly shows all of the chips. The big chips are worth 1,000 points, and the small chips are worth 100.
and you add them up.
How much is it? Do it yourself. You weren't in kindergarten, are you?
10,600 points. The chips don't add up. This clearly contradicts the witness's testimony.
But why? How could this be?
Exactly, Justice. Now that you know what, you must determine the why. Right, there's only one possible way to explain the contradictions. Both were right. I assume. Each man began the game with 3,500 points. If all the chips are indeed shown in this photograph, then there can only be one answer.
Well, what is it?
The value of the chips was the other way around.
What? Squawk!
Wants to know what I think? The small chips are worth 1,000 points, not the big ones.
Madness! Utter madness!
Show me that photograph of the chips again. There are 6 small chips and 10 large chips. Why, that does make 7,000 points when you add them up.
Exactly.
Exactly work? What the fuck?
Excellent work, Justice. It's almost as though you figured it out by yourself.
I did, actually.
Well, I'm just glad I was the one who said it.
But what? The values of the chips may be different, but that changes nothing.
Indeed, the victim did have the larger number of chips on his side still. Ah!
Exactly. If the small chips are 1,000 points and the large chips are 100, let's do a little math. Add up the points for each side of the table.
Ooh. The victim,
Mr. Smith, had to...
I didn't get to read that.
I didn't press anything, I just skipped ahead. Well now, it seems that Mr. Wright was winning that night after all.
That's impossible.
My client had even less reason to kill the victim. After all, he was winning!
Yarg!
Now, Miss Orley, you must have known the true value of these chips, since you were there at the scene of the crime, weren't you?
Eek.
Fucking excellent. Fucking nice.
Order, order! It appears our defendant has lost his motive, and Mr. Wright's supposed defeat never happened. Not defendant, fuck.
Nerd.
We must now ask ourselves whether or not we can... Excuse me, what is it, Mr. Orley?
I did not want to be saying this, but actually, you see,
See what, Miss Orley? What do we see?
in the last hand, there was a cheat.
A cheat? You don't mean a trick?
Wait, or do you mean a scam?
They're the same thing. Yes, there was a cheat in last hand. That's why a game ends with chips as they are. Great, just great. First we have lying, now cheating. Well, this case has certainly taken a turn. For the interesting.
Witness, you will please testify to the court. Tell us about this cheat in the final hand.
Okay, I'm gonna do this and then I'm gonna get some food because I'm getting hungry. The last hand, both men had full house. There was 4 of each deck in there was 4 of each card in the deck from ace to king. If you look at both men's hands, cheat is more obvious. The next moment, game becomes argument. Defendant's trick was exposed. He took bottle in his hand. Poor Mr. Smith. Miss Orley, why did you not tell the court about this from the very beginning?
I thought I smelled a cover up here. It's very sniffy. It smells like fucking dog shit. Well, folks, it's time to throw back the covers.
A full house is a very high-scoring hand. Not easy to make in my experience.
That alone is enough to suspect less than scrumptious tactics. Wait, no, scrupulous, not scrumptious.
Mr. Gavin, what's a full house?
Lawyers these days, you don't know anything about...
Why should lawyers know about poker?
Can't say this bodes well for your case or career.
What's this, some kind of secret court poker ring? Justice, you know the terms one pair, two pair, and three of a kind, yes? Oh, yeah, no problem. 2 cards with the same number make a pair, and 3 makes 3 of a kind. Good, now picture a hand with 1 pair and 3 of a kind. That's a full house. That does sound very easy to make. That doesn't sound very easy to make, does it?
You can see each player's hand in this photo.
Oh, yeah, they did. Wow, they both have full houses.
We forgot there's an easy way to make a full house and go undefeated for 7 years. You cheat.
But wait, there's someone watching the entire thing to make sure that there isn't a cheat. There's, fucking... No, not that. Yeah, that little window. Wasn't it supposed to be for, goons to make sure? Fucking, I'm gonna check this too.
The defense may cross-examine the witness.
If he did cheat in the last hand, that still leaves one important question. Mr. Wright lost that hand. Who's ever heard of a professional con man losing when they cheat? Okay, I'm gonna be right back to get some food, because I'm starving.
Where have you been? Been searching all along, confessing while alone and on, without the clue, without a sign, without grasping it. The real question to be asked: where have I been? I'm a sharpshooter, masquerade, hiding both face and mind, all free for you to draw. I'm a sharpshooter, what else should I be? Please don't take off my mask, revealing dark. Moments of calm, nothing left to be found. A mirror right in front of me, that's where I found an empty glass, reflecting that's a truth. It's telling words not to be told. I need the mask. I'm a sharpshooter, masquerade.
Boonga boonga, let's fucking continue and shit. Okay, the final hand. Okay, both men had full house. Just how hard is it to make a full house anyway? Well, it takes a while to make a house. It's quite hard,
It is making a pair and then three of a kind at the same time. I guess that's right. Very difficult to be sure. It's gonna be hard to eat and do this at the same time.
You can take my word as the poker head of the courtroom number 3.
Very difficult, but is still not impossible. Okay, full house hard. This line of questioning, a waste of time. There's 4 of each card. 4 of each card, you say? There is 1 spade, 1 diamond, 1 heart, and 1 club for each card. It is interesting fact that this number is 4. 4 comes from the number of seasons. Huh? You don't say.
And you didn't know... Did you know that the numbers like are 13? And the cards in the deck are, and you get
364? You fucking dumbass. You don't say. Isn't that 1 day short? Yeah, no shit.
That's why each deck has 2 jokers. I'm the Joker, baby. They say the second Joker stands for the leap year. Thus, you have a perfect representation of a year. All in a deck of cards.
Huh? You don't say. We're gonna be in this courtroom for a year if it keeps going like this. If you look at both ends, why is it more obvious? How is it clear? Well, the defendant, he played the 5th ace. Oh, you fucked up. Because weren't there 2 decks of cards? 5th ace. 5th ace. A 5th ace? I still remember both hands very well. Mr. Smith's hand had 3 aces. Oh no, he didn't. Oh no, he didn't. Let me just, let's see. Yeah, he had 3 kings. And 2. Obviously
cheating was afoot. Or perhaps, should I say, a hand.
Very funny. Your Honor, perhaps this can be added to the testimony without Mr. Payne's joke.
Very well. The witness will add this to her testimony, please.
I'm so confident I'm not even going to create a safe state. It appears the witness is mistaken. Mistaken, but my name... Look, this piece of evidence clearly contradicts what you said in your testimony.
That's the photo of the chips, is it not?
Justice, perhaps you ought to explain the point in the way that the judge can comprehend. In other words, use your finger to point out your points.
Yes, please point out the contradiction in this photo.
Isn't it obvious? It's the fucking... Miss Orsley, in your testimony, you made the following claim. Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces. But you can clearly see the victim's hand only held 2 aces.
Eek. Well, maybe the witness was simply confused. Perhaps it was the defendant's hand that had the 3rd ace in question.
Take another look at the evidence. As you can see, the defendant also had 2 aces in his hand. Where's the 5th ace? I can see cheating, all right, and it's going right here on the fucking courtroom. Fuck.
2 aces in each player's hand does make 4 aces in total. Hardly proof of cheating.
Wait, please. It is true. I have seen it. The 5th ace. There was cheating, I swear to you. That's odd. She must be lying. Yet she's the most sincere I've heard. Sincere I hear all day. You're right to trust your instincts, Mr. Gavin. Who knows what lies in store in front of in the trial ahead? Your Honor, if I may, I have a suggestion.
What may that be, Mr. Gavin?
If you don't mind, perhaps we might examine the actual cards.
The cards? The heart of the cards? Yu-Gi-Oh!
Mr. Payne,
Yes.
the players' hands that night were set aside as evidence, were they not? Fuck. The defense would like to request that the cards be shown to the court.
Very well, prosecution will submit. The prosecution will submit this evidence. Which will you examine? The victim's cards or the defendant's cards?
If these cards don't prove cheating was going on, nothing will now. Which of these... I'm gonna make a save state. I can't believe Phoenix Wright cheated by summoning Exodia, the Forbidden One. I'm gonna view the victim's hand. It was the victim's hand that changed over the course of the witness's testimony. The defense requests time to examine Mr. Smith's cards.
Very well, Mr. Payne, if you would.
Very well.
Well, time's a wasting. Get on it, Justice. Yes, sir. Check. When examining evidence, be sure to... Yeah, I know, I've used this before. Okay, let's do this. Is that... 1, 2, 3, 4... It's so low res. 2 aces, 3 kings. What? Your Honor, look at this! One of the victim's cards. Its back is a different color. That's impossible. When I put that card in Mr. Wright's hand... What was that, Miss Orley? No, yet. I merely said I have... Your Honor?
Mr. Gavin, yes?
Tell me, what's the easiest way to cheat at poker?
To cheat?
I'll tell you. One merely needs a friend. A comrade, shall we say. The dealer. Wait, so you mean... This witness, Miss Orley, she's the cheater. A professional, I'd wager. Nyang!
Order.
Focus, Justice. Time to take advantage of her. I mean, her mistake. Is Apollo Justice a fucking... I'm not even gonna continue with that line of questioning. Your Honor, please recall the testimony we just heard. That is impossible. But I put that card in Wright's hand. Ergo, Miss Olga Orley conspired to cheat. Not with my client, but with the victim, Mr. Shady Smith. Ugh! Not only did she cheat, she cheated poorly. Therefore, it's not that hard to imagine an altercation between her and the victim.
What?
Wait, you don't mean the defense isn't accusing the witness, Miss Olga Orley? Are you?
Time for justice. Is that your fucking catchphrase? Now it's time to summon my blue eyes white dragon. There were 3 people in the room at the time of the incident, and if Mr. Wright isn't guilty, that means I am guilty. The defense accuses the witness, Miss Olga Orley, of murder. Eek! She fainted. Wait a second. What the fuck? That was such a good impression. Impression of what?
Mr. Payne, where is your witness, Miss Olga Orley?
It appears she's lost consciousness, Your Honor.
Mr. Justice,
Your Honor.
it seems you have presented a new possibility to the court, one suggesting a connection between the witness and the victim, Mr. Smith.
And that means
This court cannot pronounce a verdict at the for the defendant at the time.
What?
I did it. I held out.
I see no point in prolonging this trial to this day. The prosecution will need to make further inquiries.
Phoenix? Mr. Wright? You can't end the trial here, Your Honor. Not yet.
What nonsense is the defendant spewing now?
Think, one of the cards had a different colored back. Don't you wonder what it means?
What are you doing, Mr. Wright? Raise an objection when you're right about to get off the hook? Ridiculous!
Mr. Payne, you of all people should know Mr. Wright has a talent for the ridiculous.
I mean, yeah, kind of.
Perhaps we should get to the bottom of things. Let's clear up the facts about the game that fateful night.
As was said before, we alternated between 2 decks of cards that night.
That was said before.
The 2 decks of the club have different colors. Different colored backs, blue and red. 1 color per deck. Why use different colored backs? If we use the same color, the decks might have gotten mixed up. Maybe use different colors and you use different colors and they still got mixed up. We used the red deck for the last game.
I see. That's odd. For some reason, I have the impression that you were using the blue cards.
Yeah, me too. I'm sure someone said something about blue cards.
Whatever. In the end, 1 card of the wrong color got into the mix, which means there was cheating.
Yes, a card slipped into the deck that would seem to indicate cheating. Yet this card raises 2 serious questions. Apollo. Yes? Let's consider the first question, shall we? Think, in the last game, when was the card swapped? When, yeah. There were 3 broad possibilities here. It could have been swapped before, during the murder, or after the murder.
Well, yeah. Thanks for the news bulletin, Mr. Wright. Of course it was swapped.
Oh? It might not be as simple as you think, Mr. Payne, or it might not be.
Yeah.
I'd like to hear what Apollo thinks first. When do you think the cards were swapped? When was the card swapped? Yeah, when was it? I'm not confident. I'm gonna say after the murder. Perhaps it happened after the murder.
No, what's that? Ridiculous! What's the point of cheating after the hands have been shown? That's silly.
Yes, but tell me, how do you swap cards during the game? I'll take silly over impossible.
Take it from me, son. There's a lot of silly in this world, but there's very little impossible.
Oh, even when the card's a different color, if you pulled that during the game, you'd be caught in no time.
Ah!
Quite true. That would mean if the blue card in question was swapped after the hands were shown, after the murder.
Okay, this is going past silly and straight into crazy. I ask again, what's the point of cheating after the game's over? Who would do that?
Who indeed? That's one of the mysteries before us.
There's another?
Yes, a simple, yet decisive question that must be asked. Who swapped the red card out for the blue card? Who? The game and the murder is done. The victim is dead. Only 2 remain in the room, alive that is.
The defendant, Phoenix Wright, and our witness, Olga Orley. Okay, so who is it that swapped the cards from red to blue? I'm gonna go out on a wild fucking guess and say it's someone else. I'm going out on a fucking limb here. No, but Olga did say. Honestly, I have no idea. Based off the evidence, I'm gonna go Olga. Well, it must have been Olga Orley who swapped the cards. She was trying to cover up the evidence of the cheating.
That does make some sense.
Sorry, but there's a problem with that explanation. Huh? The swapped card was from the wrong deck.
Yes, a blue card was stuck into the red hand.
Mixing a card from the wrong deck when the backs are different colors? Remember that you're talking about Olga Orley. She was a dealer. Do you really think she would make such a novice mistake? Actually, I have trouble imagining the judge making that mistake. Give it a little more thought, Apollo. Right! Okay. Must have been someone else. The one who swapped the cards wasn't Mr. Wright, of course. And, well, it doesn't seem like it could have been Olga Orley either.
What are you suggesting?
That's hardly a logical conclusion, I'll admit. As the defense, I'll think of only mistakes. Fuck. I'm messing up all my lines. I think it only makes sense for you to name Miss Olga Orley at this point. Yes, I know. But she was the one who dealt the cards, right? I just can't believe that she would make a mistake by swapping the wrong colored card.
And if the card was swapped during the game, it would be obvious. Something you'd like to share with the court, Mr. Wright?
Oh, my apologies, Your Honor. I was just thinking how much fun all this is.
Fun? How about confusing? I have no idea what the defense is claiming, Your Honor. If no one else swapped the card, it wasn't the defendant, and it wasn't Miss Orley, then who was it?
Yeah, well, that's the question, isn't it? Precisely. Huh? I believe we're about to see the case take a new direction. One direction.
A new direction?
We'll find out that, indeed, after the murder, someone swapped one of the cards in the victim's hand, and that someone made two critical mistakes. I'm sure you're going to tell that first one was swapping the wrong colored card, because the one who did the swapping didn't know the two colors of cards were being used. The other mistake was the number on the card. Right, the person replaced the fifth ace with a king. I'm sure whoever swapped it wasn't expecting there to be a fifth ace after all. They knew that the game had been won with a full house. So they picked up a king from the table and swapped it in.
But there's one problem. According to our new case record, the person never existed.
True, not until now. But you've got to admit the possibility of a fourth person. Though it's more than a possibility. There was someone else there on the night of the scene of the crime.
What?
I believe the judge spoke truthfully earlier. You do make trials ridiculous, Mr. Wright.
The trial has proceeded on one certain assumption, namely that at the time of the incident there were 3 people in that room. I believe this new evidence, shall we say, overturns that assumption. The problem is that you choose to conceal this information from the court.
I suppose that is a problem, yes.
Court is adjourned for a brief recess.
I'm gonna keep going for... I don't know how much longer this is. I'm gonna... Should I keep going? Certainly, Your Honor.
Very well, the trial will resume in 20 minutes.
I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna make this a longer one. Wait a second.
This was fucking yesterday?
Today's the 21st. What? What the I mean, I knew this took place in April, but I didn't know this took place yesterday.
That was quite unexpected, Mr. Wright. To suddenly claim that there was another person at the scene of the crime like that. I must ask, is it the truth? Well, now, I think you would like the answer to that. Being mysterious only. Sadly, I have no time for mysteries. I only ask that you leave the defending to the defense in the future. Otherwise, I cannot guarantee the outcome. I see you haven't mellowed out one bit, Christoph. Justice. Yeah, it's justice. Yes, sir. The judge has summoned me to his chambers, so carry on without me. You did well, Apollo.
Can I ask you something?
Sure.
That locket you wear, is that really yours, Mr. Wright?
Oh, you're wondering about the victim's disappearing locket. Here, you can take a look at it. There's a picture of my daughter in there. I'm still absolutely flabbergasted about the fact that you have a fucking daughter. Oh my god, that's fucking adorable.
I'm just surprised to hear you had a daughter.
Most people are. Perhaps you'll meet her one of these days. Foreshadowing. One more question. The one who cheated that night, was it you? What do you think?
Huh?
You know what happened 7 years ago. What I did. It's not unreasonable for you to think I might cheat.
I never, honest, but
it is so odd that he managed to go undefeated for 7 whole years.
Also, what did you do 7 years ago?
What?
And how do you have a daughter now?
I want to know something? There's only one game where you can be dealt bad cards all night and still win. Poker. You see, poker is all about reading your opponent. And that way, it's a lot like a court case. Poker is like a trial law? Figure out what your opponent is thinking and you'll win.
Well, yeah, that's harder than it sounds.
I think not. Try as they might to conceal it, everyone reveals their true thoughts in the end. Their body language can become a valuable source of information.
You're kidding!
That witness, for instance, Miss Orley. She would touch the back of her head during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? No. Come on, you would notice that? Words, habits, twitches, it's all information for me, the reading. That's the secret to winning, Apollo. Someone taught me that. And now I pass the secret on to you.
I wonder who taught you that.
But I'm not worthy. I can't lick. I can't lick? I can't lift up Mjolnir.
I mean, there's no way I'll pick up on these signals. No, you can do it. Huh? You just don't know it yet.
What's he talking about?
But you will. Soon. Almost forgot. One more thing about this case. You should know, I haven't told the truth to anyone yet.
What? I knew it.
I haven't for my reasons, of course. All shall be revealed. And Apollo, I need you to be there, defending me. I need your power.
To fly! My, power? I had no idea my cords of steel were that special.
It's time. The real trial begins now. Do your best.
I will.
Do they get the...
I love that jingle.
Should I continue? It's getting late.
late for the streams that I've done in the past. I'll continue on, but I'm not gonna even attempt to go over 1 more hour.
Court will now reconvene. Has our witness, Miss Olga Orley, recovered?
Yes, Your Honor. Well, she's regained consciousness.
Perhaps we can hear her version of the events again?
That's the thing, you see. She's quite fatigued.
You're looking a bit fatigued yourself, Mr. Payne.
Sadly, fatigued is insufficient grounds for refusing to testify or prosecute. Fuck. The defense would like to request that Miss Orley take the stand.
Very well, the witness will take the stand.
Perhaps you could repeat your name and profession. Or perhaps you'd rather admit that you're a poor liar and a poor loser. Not. What? What? Huh? What the fuck? That's fucking iconic. Arg! Name's Olga Orley. That's the truth. I'm a pro deal. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that fucking pirate voice. People call me Olga Quickfingers Orley. Oh, really? Want to know something else? I'm not really Russian, and my last name sounds like oh really. There, that's the truth. I hope you're satisfied. Fucking iconic. Witness, you will now tell the court what you were really up to that night. Fine, I'll talk. We had a plan, you see.
Let me remind you that you're currently under oath. Any further fabrications will have serious consequences.
Fine. Like I said, I'm a pro. That guy Smith hired me to do what I do best. I was planted at the Borscht Bowl several days prior to the night of the game. I was a waitress, so you were in cahoots with the victim. Not that he needed my help. Mr. Smith was a well-known poker player in some circles. But winning wasn't the main purpose of this game. It was out to destroy a legend, the unbeatable Phoenix Wright. The plan was simple, elegant really. You see, we set up a trap of sort. We planted a card in Wright's pocket beforehand, and then dealt 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Mr. Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would then pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. Fuck. You swapped the cards. Exposed as a cheater and losing on top of it, it would have made a great double play. Just like that, the legend would have would be dashed into pieces. Right of trap card. Why is this just Yu-Gi-Oh?
Indeed, getting caught red-handed at cheating would cast doubt on all of his prior wins.
A 7-year legend destroyed by one little card. That was the plan. Oh really, Orley? How droll. But it appears you made quite the mistake.
A mistake?
I agree, the trap was elegant. Yet what happened to that planted card? Hey, that's right! He's lucky, I'll give him that. You'd have to be a slip free from a trap laid by Olga Quickfingers Orley.
Oh really? The witness would be much cuter if she dispensed with the evil mastermind shtick.
Cute? Who wants to be cute? I'm not cute. I'm bad, you hear me? Bad.
When you're through being bad, perhaps you could testify to the court. Tell us about this trap and how it was
sprung. Fuck. Okay. On that night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. And Wright lost the hand, just like he was supposed to. Then Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone, and the trap failed. The next moment, Mr. Wright picked up a bottle and swung it. It wasn't me who hit Mr. Smith. It was that no-good cheating defendant.
A surprising, frank testimony that still leaves us mostly in the dark.
The trap was perfect, I tell you, perfect. If that rotten cheater hadn't messed up. Look who's talking!
Well, the testimony, for what it's worth, is all yours, Mr. Justice.
With a witness, I'd like to hear... With a witness like her, who needs criminals? And with the defendants like Mr. Wright, who needs prosecutors? Okay. I'm confused. On that night, I planted the card like I was supposed to. I only have this. I'm gonna press planted card. Which card was it exactly? The trump card, the 5 of hearts. Let me guess, Mr. Wright was to have switched the 5 of hearts, the 5 with the ace to make a full house. At least that's what you were going to accuse him of, thereby ruining his legend. I slipped it into his pocket. Right before the match, of course, while they were eating. At the Borscht Book Club, I served borscht and suckers. Let me never go there. Like a good borscht, it's good. It's a good plot. Cooked up early. I'll have to thicken. Lost to hand like. I'm honestly kind of lost. So everything went according to plan. Exactly. The fifth ace came up, and it was obvious the switch went off without a hitch. Then the extra card was found in his pocket. Wright would have been forever known as a cheat and a fraud.
There are worse things to be known as, I suppose.
Tell us what happened with the search. The planted card was gone and the trap failed. The card disappeared. Yeah, my trump card, the 5 of hearts. Gone without a trace. Poof, zippo. We searched every nook and cranny, even inside his cute little hat. But the card was nowhere to be found, is this correct? Never in my long, storied career, never has Quick Fingers Orly been so readily duped.
Oh really? So when did that happen to that 5 of hearts?
Don't look at me. You might only ask the cheating lie to give away his defendant. 5 of hearts is still missing in action. Is it? No, it couldn't fit in there, could it? I feel like that battery pack has something to do with it. What else could there be? There be maybe this? I am lost. I'm completely lost on this one. I'm just gonna quickly look up a guide. Okay. Just fucking. I am so lost. Just on the 4th statement, okay. I was just about to do that, but okay. Wait, isn't that a little odd? What's odd? You searched Mr. Wright thoroughly and found nothing, which means he didn't cheat, which means he had no reason to strike the victim. Well... What? What was that? The fuck? Did he sense the heart of the cards?
Something wrong, Mr. Justice?
No, nothing, Your Honor. What to do? Should I press a little harder? Press harder, obviously. Miss Orley, you're hiding something. What are you talking about? You? Me? Quick Fingers Orley? Hide something?
The defense will remain from baseless accusations.
I have one question for the witness, then. You say you saw the moment the defendant hit the victim. Is this true? Of course it's true. I did see it, honest. I saw it when Wright hit him. With my own eyes, I saw it. That weird... What's this weird vibe I'm getting? His power is to detect the vibes. That witness, for instance, Miss Orley, she would touch the back of her neck during certain parts of her testimony. Did you notice? That's where the card is. What the fuck? What the fuck? What? Is this... What? There, the twitch is so clear, it's like I could perceive her habit like I couldn't before. Miss Orley, perhaps you are unaware of this yourself. Unaware of what? Whenever you get to a certain part of your testimony, you touch the back of your neck with your left hand. My neck? So what? What indeed, Justice? I hadn't noticed anything of the sort. When she says that part of her testimony, she's subconsciously recalling something. Her body reacts to the memory, and she touches her neck. I'm sure of it.
A memory? What? Would someone care to explain what he's babbling about?
This is highly unusual, but let's ask the defense. You claim the witness is remembering something. Maybe you have evidence of this memory to show us.
Her habit is scratching her neck whenever she talks about the memory of the moment. Talks about the moment of the crime. So, what would remind her of the crime? Miss Orley, whenever you recall the crime that night, you scratch your neck. I've noticed it happens when you think about the moment of the crime. There must be a reason behind this habit of yours. I believe the weapon that left this was... What could it have been? The weapon that left in... I'm gonna save and... Whenever she talks about the moment of the crime, she touches her neck. And that reminds us more of the moment. And what reminds us more of that moment than this bottle, the murder weapon? But something doesn't fit. If you were only the witness to this crime, why would that make you touch your neck in pain?
What's he talking about now?
It was Mr. Smith, the victim, who was hit. Not you.
And she's wearing something over her head. This is a cross-examination, not a cross-wild conjecture. The witness's habits, they're completely irrelevant.
Justice, I'll admit I'm a bit confused myself. This is certainly a unique cross-examination. I'll explain later, just trust me. Now's our only chance to break her. Miss Orley, please testify in detail about the moment of the crime. The very moment. Yet, I am knowing nothing. We know you're not Russian.
The witness will testify, please, now.
Iconic. Bah, fine. He's the one who did it. I didn't let him out of my sight until the cops got there. I'm gonna press first. You seem uneasy. You trying sitting up here? Her eyes are darting all over the place. I must be getting warm. Tell me, after the crime, what was the defendant like? Well, he must have been stunned by the weight of his crime. He sat in that dazed table until the cops came. Intriguing. I believe you've gotten all the testimony you're going to get out of the witness. So, what do you think about her testimony? I'll tell you what I think. Her testimony is flawed. It's basically bogus. It contradicts the evidence.
What's that?
Well, show us this evidence, Mr. Justice. This evidence that you claim contradicts her testimony.
She didn't let him out of her sight until the cops got there. I know there's some evidence that contradicts that. A cell phone. Miss Orley, we have a record here that clearly contradicts what you said. It states that the police were alerted by a report from the defendant. And we know that the defendant left the room, climbed the stairs, and made the phone call from the first floor of the Borscht Bowl Club. So, explain how you keep your eyes on the defendant when he left the room entirely. The man who picked up the bottle and swung it that night wasn't the defendant. Ooh. Ooh, nice. Showdown time. It's time to duel. Check his pockets now. It's gone. The card's gone. You lose. Ugh! Just then, Smith grabbed the bottle from next to right, and he hit me. You, some master of cheating you turned out to be. Eek! When I came to,
The victim was already dead, is that it?
that's why I couldn't reveal who I really was. If I came out that I was in league with Smith, I'd be a suspect for sure.
Well, where does this leave us?
Madness. This is madness. I'm dreaming. It must have been me who was hit with a bottle. I'm imagining all this.
It appears our prosecutor is at his wit's end, and frankly, I can't blame him. Mr. Gavin, what do you think about this turn of events? Mr. Gavin, sir? I believe that the defense in this case, we are compelled to call Miss Orley a big, fat liar. Movie's fucking great. I love that movie. It's a childhood classic. What? 3 were in that room in the night of the murder. The defendant, victim, and her. And she has a motive. A motive? Her plot foiled. The witness got into an argument with her client, Mr. Smith. And the denouement of that argument was murder. What? I didn't. I'm no killer. It's a trap. Someone's trying to frame me. What a tangled webs we weave when we practice to deceive. So tangled we catch ourselves in the process.
Mr. Wright?
Such a hasty conclusion. It's not like you, Christoph Gavin.
What are you saying?
Wait, what are you saying? Why not consider the other possibility? That there was another person in the room at the time of the murder. Right. Like Mr. Wright was saying before recess. A single card was swapped into the victim's hand before the murder. And the one who swapped the card didn't know that two colors of the cards were being used. A fourth person.
This theory again, your fourth person does not exist.
Indeed. That's why I decided to bring this case to court. Here, where there's no escape and no chance for deception. The perfect place to catch the real criminal.
The real criminal?
And we're in luck. A clue to the real criminal's identity was kindly provided for us. Right at the beginning of the trial, no less.
What?
Apollo, perhaps you know what I'm talking about? Sorry. Remember what I said? The fourth person who swapped the cards made one critical error. He or she wasn't considering the colors of the backs of the cards. Right. But how could such a person make an obvious fucking Godot? Obvious mistake occur. The cards used for the last game are red. Yet, there's one person in here, in our court, who thought those cards were blue. Yeah, I had that impression too, but why? Well, Apollo, think you can figure out who it was?
It's not me, I swear.
Who is this fourth person?
And why do I always get put on the spot like this? Let's hear what the defense has to say. Who was it? Who thought the cards used in the final game were blue? I know who it was. As I expected. Your eyes and ears are as sharp as your hair. I was right? Christoph Gavin, you were the fourth person that night. But of course, Mr. Gavin knows the color of the cards. How would he? As you can see, the photo of the crime scene is black and white. You can't tell which of the cards are blue and which one's on the floor or table. But look, you could see the colors in the photo. Yes, but when he said the cards were blue, it was before the evidence came to light. It's true that the defendant was engaged in a game of poker with the victim. Yet it was only that, a game. The purest sense of a competition, Your Honor.
A competition?
Yes, a test of wits, a silent clash of passions. Only the cards, their backs wreathed in a blue flame, I know its final outcome. Well, Christoph? Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Gavin, is something the matter?
No, nothing. Excuse me, I was just so sudden. Right, you aren't seriously accusing me, are you? Oh, Christoph. You know, even I'd never take a joke this far.
This has gone beyond ridiculous. Beyond dumb. This is insanity. The defendant is accusing his own defense attorney of murder.
I assure you, I'm quite sane.
But what possible connection could Mr. Gavin have to the victim?
I wasn't aware that I had a connection to Mr. Smith either.
But Mr. Gavin and the victim have never even met.
Well, what if they have?
Huh?
There's a possibility, after all. They may have met that night before the game started.
What are you suggesting?
This is the truth Mr. Wright is staying so silent about. Only one thing to do. Mr. Wright, the defense would like to request no such thing. I didn't even finish the sentence, Gavin. Testimonies must be related to the case. How could anything happen before the game of poker be related?
I'm not sure I follow, Mr. Gavin.
As I explained before, the defense believes that Miss Orley...
I am to assume you speak for Mr. Justice in this. He is the defense, not you. Mr. Justice, the matter of Mr. Wright's testimony is up to you.
Oh, okay. I couldn't do an audible enough gulp.
Does this court, in your opinion, need to hear Mr. Wright's testimony?
Fuck yeah. This is what Mr. Wright's strategy
he was planning this all along, and I intend to see it through. The defense would like to request that Mr. Wright testify to the court. It to justice? You would betray me, your teacher? I'm sorry, Mr. Gavin. This isn't about loyalty. This is about the truth. Yes, I did hit my table.
Very well, the defendant, Mr. Wright, will take the stand, please.
That evening, Kristoff and I had dinner. We sat at the table in this photograph. Shady Smith walked in 5 minutes after Kristoff left. When the trap failed, Smith hit the witness and hit the waitress. The girl was knocked out cold, and Mr. Smith, that was uncontrollable, and left to call the police. When I returned, he was dead, blood streaming from a cut on his forehead. That's when I made another phone call to the defense attorney, Gavin. We playing on an emulator or a DS? I don't have a DS recorder. I'm playing on an emulated version of the 3DS version. Also, hello, Mario Zinger.
You were at the Borscht Bowl Club at the time of the murder.
I dine with him rather frequently.
And he talked to the defendant on the phone directly after the murder?
Quite against my will. I had become involved in a murder. I thought I might need a lawyer, so I called him. You were planning this all along, weren't you, Wright? Just because you wanted to drag me into your little murder trial. The only thing I wanted is the truth. As I did back then, and now. I thought my office was doing a favor when we took on your defense. It appears that I was wrong.
Very well, the defense may cross-examine the witness.
Justice? Sir? He's lying, and you're going to expose him. Understood, sir. Mr. Gavin versus Mr. Wright. This can't end well. Why can't I have a normal trial? Okay. That evening. Again, 5 minutes after myself left. Trap failed. Smith at the waitress. About this failed trap. This is the same trap that Miss Olga Orley mentioned. The plan was simple, elegant, really. You see, we set up a trap of sorts. I was to plant a card in Wright's pocket beforehand and dealt 5 aces during one of their games. When their hands were revealed, Smith would call him out and search Wright. He would pull out the planted card and the trap would snap shut. Oh, your voice acting is great. Thank you. You swap the cards. Just like that, the legend would be dashed into pieces. Yes, a harmless prank in essence. It was by a quirk of fate that I happened to discover it.
A quirk?
It happened. I happened to put my hand in my pocket and found a card. The card she planted. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and it was the 5 of hearts. I had a feeling something like this might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game.
Disposed? Where?
There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle.
Hey, an empty bottle of grape juice?
The murder weapon. Yes, I rolled it up and shoved it in there. The colored glass makes it hard to see.
A battle of wits between the deceiver and the would-be deceived. That sounds like a terrific drama.
The card inside the murder weapon. That's strange. Did the police miss this in their investigation? Maybe I'll take a look.
Mr. Wright, the poker head of courtroom number 3, approves of this battle of wits.
I'm gonna investigate it again. If I can zoom in. Grape juice. Oh, apparently. Where could it be? The bottle is completely empty.
Please revise your testimony with this new information.
I just got to be trapped during the game, and I suppose the card inside the bottle. Okay, where could it be? Can I open it? No. Bottle's completely empty. Yeah, I know. Gonna try presenting? Okay, yeah, I can. I can do that. I can do that. Mr. Wright, if I may?
Yes.
I've examined the bottle and I don't see a card in there. No.
What, Mr. Wright, surely isn't all you have to say for yourself?
I can't say that. I know what happened to the card. I put it in the bottle, however... Huh? Perhaps a fifth person came and took it out. Oh, and a sixth person could have helped.
Mr. Gavin, Mr. Wright is your client.
My apologies, Your Honor.
I won't have you disparaging our investigation either. I looked inside that bottle and there was nothing.
So what's going on? Mr. Wright's hoodwinking us again. Or did the card just disappear?
In any case, please continue the cross-examination. I'm afraid decisive contradiction call for decisive evidence.
Oh. Press him harder, Justice. Break him. Just you and the witness and the ring go for the KO. Oh, why do I get the feeling we're not on our client's side anymore? Dinner photograph. It's gotta be the label. It's gotta be. I just fucking... Okay. And crime. Okay. Mr. Wright, if I may.
Yes.
Take a look at this photograph of the crime scene. See the victim here? He's wearing a hat. I wouldn't think you could see blood on his forehead. Good point. The defense is fucking jamming. Justice, next time you point out an inconsistency, put a little more oomph into it.
Mr. Wright, can you explain this to the court?
I forgot to mention something. I was the one who put the hat on his head. Eh?
You put the hat on the dead man's head?
He wore it through our entire poker game. After calling the police, when I returned to the scene, his head was in full view. Shining bright, just like this photograph.
And?
I picked his hat up off the floor and put it on his head.
Why would you do such a thing like that?
All I can say is, I'm sorry, but that's the only thing I touched at the crime scene. So, Miss Orley didn't see it? It being the victim's, his head? I think not. She was out cold. I believe I was the only one who witnessed his head. Here we go again. Mr. Gavin? Pardon. It just seems that our client is determined to lie his way through this case. Hey, he's still our client, isn't he? I believe that's enough of that. Mr. Gavin? This witness's testimony is more like a travesty. It's riddled with lies. I'm beginning to see how you came to lose your attorney's badge 7 years ago. Well, you certainly have a unique way of treating your clients, Kristoff. I never knew. I believe it was you who threw the first stone. Mr. Wright, if you intend to ever tell the truth about this case, it's now or never.
Don't be misled. I haven't told a single lie here. When I noticed the trap, I put the card in the bottle to dispose of it. And when I put the hat on the victim's head, let's just say I had a reason for doing that as well.
A reason?
That's the reason right here. Your cell phone? That night, recall that I spoke with the defense attorney Gavin after calling the police. Just in case, I recorded our conversation. What's this? Now that we're all here, I see no reason why I shouldn't play it back for the court. Christoph, I seem to be in a bit of trouble. What's this? Game not going well? Something like that. That gentleman who challenged you, he turned out to be good. He turned out to be dead. Someone hit him hard. You mean someone cracked the flawless bone china plate? It wasn't you, was it? Me? Please, the cops should be here any minute. I'm in your hands. Should it come to that. Bone china plate? A kind of porcelain, it's very smooth and shiny. Not a plate, but a pate. I believe he was referring to a certain gentleman's balding forehead.
The court would appreciate the defendant's discretion in not indicating my forehead.
Wait a second, something's not right about that phone call. So after Mr. Gavin ate dinner with you, he left the Borscht Bowl Club? Most certainly. Then how did he know? When did he see this bone china plate?
Oh, that's right.
Yes, that was when I began to see my good friend in a different light. Troubled, I returned to the crime scene, and when I spotted Mr. Smith's head, I realized exactly what was wrong. Well, Mr. Gavin, the stage has been set. Perhaps you would like to explain this to the court? Exactly how did you come to the privileged knowledge of the victim's head? So, this is your reason. The reason you put the victim's hat back on. Your point, Mr. Gavin? It's come down to this, has it, Phoenix Wright?
Order, I will have order, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe this court has been left with no other choice. Are you prepared to hear Miss Defense Attorney Gavin's testimony?
Well, yes, the prosecutor.
Very well, we'll break for 10 minutes, after which Mr. Gavin will take the stand for cross-examination. Are we clear on that?
Crystal clear, Your Honor.
Very well, this will be our final recess for the day.
Thank fucking God. April 20th, yesterday.
Wait, that's only 2 minutes away. That's only 2 minutes away from now. Oh my gosh.
Mr. Gavin and Mr. Wright are both in the judge's chamber. Who'd have thought this day would turn out to be like this? May I?
Who might this be?
What? Hello, sir, please, pick a card. What's all that about? Is this one okay? Excellent. I have a message for you. The last hand is about to be played. You'll need a trump card to make it. A trump card? The card you have chosen is magical. Use it wisely and the game is yours. That's all. An ace. Where do I remember a card from? Mr. Smith's hand has 3 aces and Mr. Wright has 2 aces. It's 5 aces in all. I can't believe how many icons are in this game. Yeah. But if you remember, that was a fucking person from Wright's Pendant. That's his fucking daughter, which I find it hard to believe that person would be 7 years old, seeing as the last game took place 7 years ago. And he didn't have a daughter, and also he was 26,
So, how?
It's true, I've seen it. The fifth ace. There was cheating, I swear to you.
The missing fifth ace. Wait, this blotch of red, is it blood? You have your trump card. Now it's up to you to cut the deck and draw the truth. My father's fate is in your hands. I know you can do it. Magic. Literal magic. This bloodstained card is my trump card for finding the truth. It's like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Persona 4. I fell deep into thought as my mind raced to understand what this all meant. That girl. I had seen her recently, but where? That's when I made the connection. Bloody ace added to the court record. Phoenix Wright games are famous for having so many fucking icons in them. So many.
Court will now reconvene. Defense Attorney Christoph Gavin, will you please take the stand? Now then, if you would, Mr. Payne.
Yes, Your Honor. Mr. Will the witness please state his name and occupation?
This is a farce. This is farce, necessarily. Is this far? Oh, fuck, I read that wrong. Fucking. Is this farce necessary, Your Honor?
Believe me, far stranger things have gone down in this courtroom.
Yeah, once fucking Phoenix Wright proved that fucking the defense attorney, the prosecution attorney he was battling against killed a woman that hadn't been seen in 15 years that was also his best friend's mom, who was undercover as someone else, and it was all a plot to fucking stop someone who was already in jail. So, yeah. Fine, I'll play along.
First, there's one thing we need to have made clear. How did you know about the secret beneath the victim's hat?
By secret, I'm guessing that means the fact that Mr. Smith was bald. Forgive my curiosity, but what about this fellow's head? Your Honor seems to have made an inordinate interest in it. That was fucking Phoenix. Wait, what the fuck? I wouldn't call it an order, Mr. Gavin. Mr. Wright? What do you think you're doing, Mr. Wright? Wow, things sure look different from the other side. You know what I mean, Apollo? Speaking of looking from the other side, let's consider something for a second. The victim wore that hat all night, never once taking it off except for that one time. That one time being the instant he was hit.
Oh!
When Mr. Wright returned from reporting the crime, the hat was lying on the floor. Mr. Wright picked it up and placed it on the victim's head. In other words, in order to have seen Mr. Smith's bald head, you would have had to be at the scene of the crime at the time of the crime. In other words, you'd have to be the real killer? Is that what you're trying to say? Not bad, Apollo. His theme's back. Yeah?
Mr. Gavin?
I'm afraid that I haven't been entirely honest with the court.
What?
Oh, I assure you, I had the noblest of intentions. I did it all to protect my client, Mr. Wright. Yet, I'm afraid that the current situation I see has little reason to hide anything. Very well, allow me to tell you the truth about what happened that night.
Finally, you may begin your testimony. Tell us, how were you involved in the events of the fateful night?
This is so fucking epic. I'm loving this. The rage I sensed in that man that night troubled me, so I returned to the club. I went down to the basement and peeked in through the little window of the hideout. It must have been right after the murder took place.
The victim was dead, as he appears in the photo. A bald head and unconscious. An unconscious girl and Mr. Wright holding the bottle in his hand. I sensed that the best place for me to be at the time, so I left. That's when the call came from Mr. Wright.
So you witnessed the murder?
For better or worse, I missed the actual moment of the dead.
Mr. Gavin, I may remind you that you are Mr. Wright's defense team. Your testimony has clearly disadvantaged your client.
What else could I say? I'm standing on the witness stand, after all. So you are Mr. Gavin. And you had to testify just as you did. You had to tell them that you saw the scene of the crime through that little window. Oh, Mr. Wright? You had to say that. Because that was the only probable window of opportunity, right, Apollo? Oh!
Mr. Wright, the defense should do the cross-examination, not the defendant. Mr. Justice, are you prepared?
Yes, Your Honor. I can't believe I'm going up against Mr. Gavin. This trial is getting weirder and weirder. Okay, I think... The window of the hideout must have been right after the murder took place. The victim appears in the photo. Bald-headed, unconscious girl, right holding the bottle in his hand. I'm gonna press that. Those were the only 3 things at the scene of the crime. Yes, as far as I saw at least.
Then we're back to where we started. The killer was the defendant, Phoenix Wright. Who else could it have been? But why didn't you talk to the police?
2 reasons. First, I didn't actually witness the very moment of the crime. Second, my office was asked to defend Wright. Even after seeing what I had seen, I couldn't abandon my friend. There must have been someone else there at the moment of the crime. Justice, I just said I saw no one, not a soul. But that goes against what Mr. Wright said. Ah, yes, this mysterious 4th person. Who would conveniently be the real killer, I suppose? Glad to see we agree, Mr. Gavin. Let me pose a question, then. Tell me, what possible reason did the real killer, have to swap cards on the victim's hand? Perhaps you can show us a reason why such a thing would be necessary? How can I show something I can't find myself? Remember, Apollo, the card that was swapped out was the 5th ace. The 5th ace, right. Well,
Mr. Justice, the question of why the killer would swap the card has been raised.
Actually, I'm gonna examine this. Yeah, it's the red one. Bloodstain. Single drop of blood marks in front of the card.
It's been raised. Can you point out a reason?
I'm gonna assume it's show evidence. No, it's now or never. The defense would like to present the evidence to the court. Evidence showing that the reason why the card was swapped out.
Then go ahead Go ahead and point out the reason, Mr. Justice. Why did the killer take the 5th ace?
The reason is, this.
Is that an ace?
Why has it got blood on it? Next to the spade.
What? This is insane. Why wasn't I told about this? Why?
Could this be? Could this be the missing 5th ace?
Inconceivable. How could you? What are you doing with that card? I will summon Exodia. Well, that's the thing. Why is Mr. Gavin so upset? It's just a fishy card from some fishy girl. Oh, that card? It's mine.
That is, I picked it up at the Borscht Bowl that night, and after the murder had occurred, I gave it to my daughter. Her cards are her stock and trade, after all.
No, impossible, unacceptable. The court cannot accept this evidence. It's a fraud.
A fraud? How can you be so sure?
What?
I would think that the only person who could claim it was fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene, the real killer. Allow me to elaborate. What if this trace of blood was the reason?
The reason for...
The reason for the killer to take the card from the scene of the crime.
Where are you going with this?
Take another look at this photo and the victim's head. At the moment of the crime, his hat fell on the floor, and the trickle of blood ran from his forehead to the back of his head. Couldn't a drop of blood have fallen onto one of the cards? I suppose. Then the killer took the card from that to hide the body. Fine.
Regardless, that evidence is non-permissible.
Oh.
Right. Regardless of how you waste your last 7 years, you used to be a lawyer.
You know what a serious crime it is to conceal evidence. Oh, we can discuss finer points of our legal system later. What's important now is that I've answered your question.
What are you talking about?
You wanted to know why the killer would have taken the card from the crime scene. And now I've told you. That one drop of blood would have been decisive evidence, you see.
This is baseless conjecture. Baseless.
I have a finger. Oh, I assure you it's quite based. Fucking Twitter. Twitter be like...
What?
It's amazing, really, how a single drop of blood on a single card can lead us to the truth. It's quite simple. Well, Apollo, yes? Try picturing the scene of the crime. In your head, okay, 3 dimensions. This is cool. The murder took place in the hideout. The body of the luckless victim was found on the poker table, and before the killer swapped the card out, there was a single card with a drop of blood on the victim's hand. Given this, there is one decisive problem with this scene.
Well, what is it?
Let's keep it simple, shall we? Given there was a drop of blood on the card. Based Phoenix. Given that there was a drop of blood on the card, whose position in this diagram doesn't fit? The diagram, in the victims, the killers, the witness, or the second witness, whose position doesn't fit with the bloody card. The victim, I'm assuming? Well, isn't it the victim's position that's the problem?
I don't follow your logic here, Mr. Justice.
Well, look, the victim struck on the head, sending him back in his chair. You'd think that the blood would fall behind the body, not onto the table in front of him.
Ah!
Think and take a look at this photo again. If he bled in this position, the blood would fall onto the floor, not the cards.
Why, that's right, so what does it mean?
Incidentally, we were sitting in swiveled chairs. Swiveled chairs? Oh man. Apollo, try turning the chair around. How do I do that? How do I do that? I don't know how I do that. Oh, I just do that.
The chair was facing the other way.
It would have to be. So we have to assume that at the time of the murder, the victim's chair was facing away from the table.
When Mr. Wright returned from informing the police, which
way was the way facing? When I came back to the room, the body was facing as seen in the photo. That would mean that the killer turned the chair back around. Let's take the next step. Look at the diagram once more. We know now the victim was facing away from the table at the time of the murder. But this creates another significant contradiction.
Again?
Let's test your reasoning for skills again, shall we? Apollo, whose location on the diagram contradicts our new understanding of the crime? The victims, the killers, or the witnesses? The second witnesses. Whose location creates a contradiction? Yours? The victim was struck from the front, correct? Indeed. Well, wouldn't it be hard for the killer to hit him from the front? Sitting where the indicator clearly is? I would think it would be quite hard, yes.
Yes, but what you're saying makes no sense. Why would the victim suddenly turn to face the wall in the middle of the game?
I believe it's a sufficient reason which will soon come to light.
What?
There's something in this diagram that makes it far less sense, actually. Look at this diagram again. You have to go have fun and keep it up. Bye. Okay. Look at this. Look at the diagram again. If the victim was struck while he was sitting, as shown here, where would his assailant be standing? Try marking it on the diagram. What? But there's no room to put a marker here. The killer should be. Don't worry. Let's think it through and see what we find. We know that the victim was facing towards the wall at the time of the crime. That's the only thing that we know about it for sure. Try figure out the killer strike the victim from the front. Well, it'd have to be right around here. Just 1 second. Standing in here? The killer had to be standing while, here.
You get points for flair, but that's about all you get.
I thought I was onto something there, too.
I hardly need to point out that standing there would be impossible. The victim's facing a solid cupboard. Are you claiming the killer climbed the cupboard and hit him from above?
It's simple logic, really. If this was the only place the killer could have been standing, then that means that the very moment of the crime... Wait, I know! The moment of the crime, the cupboard wasn't there.
What's this now?
I mean, that's the only explanation, right, Mr. Gavin? Your Honor, I have a suggestion for the defense. We should arrange to examine the cupboards in the hideout immediately.
Bailiff, send a team to examine the scene immediately. Have them try to move the cupboard.
Ah, Your Honor.
What?
There's one more thing that your men should look for. Please give them this. And give this to the bailiff. Bailiff.
Yes, I see. You do belong to the courtroom after all, Mr. Wright.
I do my best. But let's forge ahead here while we wait. Look at the diagram once again. It's been changed. If the killer was standing there at the time of the crime, then this cupboard wasn't there. Which means, Apollo, try moving the cupboard. Thank you. As you can see, the cupboard was the problem. At the time of the murder, it had to have been shown here. Now everything's in place for the reconstruct the moment of the crime. Oh my. What's this?
What is it now?
Look at the diagram from the crime scene once more. It appears that we have found yet another contradiction. What I believe to be the final contradiction, in fact. Huh? Oh, dang. Notice something, Apollo?
Our line of deduction is rapidly approaching its logical conclusion.
Now then, Mr. Justice, please point out the new contradiction indicator. Is it the victim, the killer, the witness, or the second witness?
It's obviously the second witness because, you know, kind of being blocked.
About this cupboard. Are we okay with... It was...
Sure, why not? What the fuck? I didn't click close enough. The cupboard would be complete... Oh, no, I did click right.
The cupboard would completely cover the window of the stairs. Ah!
That's right. Someone standing right outside the window wouldn't be able to see. Someone like Mr. Gavin.
What? What did you say?
Oh, is the coolest defense in the West losing his cool.
Don't expect me to play along with your little game, Mr. Wright.
It's only a game until someone gets killed, Mr. Gavin. And someone was, well, the window to the room was blocked by a cupboard. So, Mr. Gavin, perhaps you'd like to explain to the court exactly where you witnessed the crime scene from.
Excuse me, Your Honor. Order! This is a court of law. I will have order.
We just received a word from the investigation team in the Borscht Bowl Club. They examined the cupboard and hideout, Your Honor.
Oh, and what did they find?
Well, Your Honor, it turns out that there's a secret passage behind it.
What?
Yes, I believe I mentioned something of the sort before. This is one of the tricks to the room of many of our regulars know about. I do remember him saying something about that now that he mentions it. A secret passage is a handy thing to have while you're engaged in illegal activity and illegal goings-on. I've been doing this so long that I'm losing my fucking concentration. Never know when you might need to duck away from the eyes of the law. So then the room has a secret passage. Where does it go? The other side connects to the restaurant above. The underworld bosses could easily get away from the cops and enjoy a cold bowl of borscht, no doubt, just like our killer. You see where our line of simple deductive reasoning has led us, Apollo? I see it, but I don't believe it. That girl wasn't kidding when she said when I needed this trump card for the last hand. At the time of the murder, the window was blocked in the victim's hat. It was only off his head for a few minutes between Mr. Smith's murder and Mr. Wright's return from calling the cops. In other words, the only place anyone could have seen the victim's bald head was from inside the hideout. Well, Mr. Gavin, come on, say something.
Dare I ask what really happened that night?
Actually, I think we could probably figure it out ourselves at this point. That night, for whatever reason, our killer had a date with Mr. Smith. A date with destiny. And a date. They were in love, obviously. I mean, come on. I'm just gonna say that they were gay because fucking why not? There he was crouched, hidden in the secret passageway behind the cupboard, holding his breath, waiting for just the right moment. Then the chance came and he took it.
Ugh! Eek!
What?
What are you doing? Wait here, I'll get help.
Miss Olga Orley was out cold, struck by Mr. Smith. But his time was soon to come. Mr. Wright went upstairs to call the cops, leaving Mr. Shady Smith alone in the hideout with the unconscious dealer. Then our killer stepped out from the secret passage into the hideout. The victim must have heard the cupboard sliding aside, and he wheeled his chair around to look, and after the deed was done, the criminal must have seen the blood on the card. He would have, of course, realized
the need to destroy the evidence. That single spot of blood would have told the whole story of the crime. Too bad for him, he didn't linger any longer in the hideout that night. If he had, he might have noticed the cards on the floor, and the fact that they were all red. I'm so glad that this is finally gonna end, because it's been 3 hours and this video still isn't over.
Well, it seems this trial has taken yet another turn. I'm truly, truly sorry I had to see this day come, Mr. Gavin.
Mr. Gavin?
Mr. Payne!
Yes, Your Honor.
The prosecution will continue its investigation. As for Mr. Phoenix Wright, the defendant is hereby cleared of all suspicion. I believe me when I say that that I don't believe that this is happening to Mr. Gavin. But I'm afraid circumstances call for me to issue a warrant for your arrest immediately.
Oh, no need to apologize. I had rather enjoyed myself. It's not every day you get to witness a legendary attorney's dirty tactics firsthand. Your point, Mr. Gavin. Frankly, Your Honor, I'm shocked that a person of your caliber could be taken by such a low-grade parlor trick.
Excuse me?
The defendant is cleared of all suspicion. It's hard. This is hardly the time for jokes, Your Honor. Mr. Wright hasn't proven anyone's guilt or innocence here. What he has done is used illegal evidence to put the blame on someone else. And not just anyone else, but me, his own defense attorney.
Illegal evidence?
Let me ask you, Mr. Gavin. Is there still any reason to present, at present, to suspect me of any wrongdoing? Of course. This bottle, for instance. The bottle of grape juice Mr. Wright was drinking. How do you intend to explain away the fingerprints on the murder weapon? And not just any fingerprints. Am I right, Mr. Payne?
Actually, yes. The fingerprints on the bottle were upside down.
I seem to recall this being the issue earlier. The court in this case demands an explanation. I can't think of any one reason why the bottle would be held upside down. And that is to hit someone with the bottom of the bottle, well, Your Honor? I see how the caught fish squirms to the last. Well, Apollo? Yes? Your boss seems awfully concerned about this bottle still. I'm sure you can still come up with a suitable explanation just like that. Yeah, just like what? Why would anyone grab the bottle upside down other than... Don't let him trick you into thinking his explanation is the only legitimate one. Is there really another? Take another look at the court record. I believe you'll find a simple answer there. It's in plain sight. How about you just say the answer in plain words?
It would be hasty to deliver the verdict with unanswered questions indeed. Well, Mr. Justice?
Mr. Gavin said that the court in this case demanded an explanation. Don't worry, Justice. Won't leave until justice is done.
Perhaps the defense would care to enlighten the court. What evidence do you have to explain the fingerprints on the bottle upside down?
I have no idea. Let me just fucking... Can't present profiles or... Oh, that. It's actually easy. It's actually easier to show than you explain, Your Honor.
The place that the bottle was on the floor next to your chair.
Excuse me, on the floor?
Yes, now reach down and pick it up without getting out of your chair. See, you naturally go to pick it up by the pick up the bottle by its neck with your fingers upside down. Look at this photograph taken on the night of the murder. The defendant, Mr. Wright, sat here, playing the piano with bottles of grape juice on the floor next to the side of his piano on the bench. He would have naturally picked up the bottles upside down several times.
Wow, I can't even believe it was that simple.
Recall our dinner that evening, Christoph. I was drinking my usual juice then, too. And it definitely wasn't alcohol. Please don't say it was alcohol, because it definitely wasn't. Basically, you used the bottle on the table to do the deed, but then you must have remembered. So you went to pick up the bottle from under the piano, and you switched the bottles. You took the one of Mr. Wright's bottles and made it look like the murder weapon. Fucking, my voice is... I've lost everything. My voice. Order.
An order. What do you have to say to these charges, Mr. Gavin?
Fascinating. So this is the legendary attorney's famed tactic of misdirection. What? You claim that I switched the bottle. Where's your proof? Proof? Well, that's... As I thought, more baseless conjecture. I'm afraid your bottle of proof is quite empty. I wouldn't be so sure about that. Your Honor, when you initiated the investigation of the hideout earlier, do you recall I requested an additional investigation?
Yes, I have your memo about that here. Retrieve the bottles from under the piano of the Borscht Bull Club. And here's the one of the bottles in question.
What are you gonna dust them for fingerprints too? I wouldn't be surprised if there were. Fucking the based Phoenix Wright in the cringe conjecture. I wouldn't be surprised if there were any bottles. If there were any on the... My mind is gone. Mr. Gavin probably won't make wouldn't make such an obvious mistake, true, but that bottle won't bear any trace of anything. Say, Apollo. Yes? Why won't you go ahead and examine that bottle? But why? Just humor me. Mr. Wright? The bottle will solve this case once and for all. What? That's some bottle. Oh. There's something inside the bottle. I'm gonna just pop that off and... Oh. What's this? That card. It can't be. Recall that unpleasant woman's testimony for a moment. Miss Olga Orthy? Yes, our little swindling Devochak. I don't know how to pronounce that. That night, I planted the card like I was supposed to, and Mr. Wright lost the hand like he was supposed to. Then Mr. Smith searched him, but the planted card was gone. The trap failed. Wait, this isn't... You're telling me that this is the planted card you disposed of? The one that you mentioned in this place of testimony? I don't know. I happened to put my hand in my pocket and I found a card. Yes, I snuck a peek at it and found it was the 5 of Hearts. I had a feeling something might happen, something might happen, so I disposed of the card before the game. Disposed where... I know. There was an empty bottle of grape juice I had been drinking right beside me. I threw the card inside the bottle. This is the card.
The 5 of Hearts. This is the card. The bottles were swapped, and the only one who could have done that was the 4th person in the club that night. You, Mr. Christoph Gavin. Fucking earthquake? What the fuck? Someone better check if Edgeworth is okay. He might have had a panic attack again. That's all. Fucking mic drop. Is this your idea of revenge, Phoenix Wright? Revenge? Revenge for the events that took away your attorney's badge 7 years ago? My past is like my logic. Straight and true. Nothing's changed.
Actually, I wouldn't exactly say it's that straight.
Nothing's changed. All I did was point the finger of justice in the proper direction. Fine. I'm glad we could have this little tete-a-tete, right? Is that how you say it? It's tete-a-tete, right?
This is insane! What about me? I don't get to prosecute anyone!
Poor fucking Payne.
I believe this time we've finally come to the end of our trial. Mr. Payne, do you have anything to report for us on Christoph Gavin?
He's admitted everything. We're processing his arrest now.
I see, still. One has to wonder why he would do such a thing. He didn't even have a connection to the victim, did he?
None that we know of.
Mr. Wright, have you anything to add?
I'm afraid I can't shed any more light on this matter.
Are we gonna get like a flashback case later in the game?
About this victim, Shady Smith. His occupation was listed as traveler, an odd profession to be sure, and that's all we know about him.
I'll arrange for a follow-up investigation, Your Honor.
Good, Mr. Wright.
Yes?
7 years, and you still haven't lost your touch.
Christoph Gavin was a man with much significance for me, both as a friend and as a lawyer.
He was extremely talented, to be sure.
I needed 2 things before I could confront him. The first was a place where no injustice would be tolerated. This courtroom. Second was a man who would tolerate no injustice. In other words, a defense attorney. You, Apollo.
Me?
This is dark times for our legal system. A twisting of justice brought upon our own very initial trial system. We have to see it right.
Mr. Wright?
Our work lies ahead of us, and I, for one, am looking forward to it.
Well, this seems to be a good time to announce the verdict. This court finds the defendant, Mr. Phoenix Wright.
Not guilty.
The court is adjourned.
It's finally over after 3 hours. Oh, and this one was one of the short ones. Thanks, Apollo. You came through just like I thought you would. I'm pretty sure I didn't do a thing in there. It was all you who cornered Mr. the killer. I couldn't have done it by myself. You sensed it too today, didn't you? Your ability. Ability? Yes, your sensitivity, and a sensitivity I lack. You'll come to understand it soon enough. Wait, I wonder if he means... I have one question for the witness, then. You say you saw the moment of the defendant hit the victim? Is this true? Of course it's true. That's when the weird vibe I'm getting. What was that, Mr. Wright? You'll have to find the answer to that question yourself. The answer, right? Today was full of questions, without answers. Most of them about Mr. Gavin. What possible reason could it be that he have committed murder? Perhaps you'll learn that in the days to come. Wait, you don't know, do you? This locket is the key. That reminds me, I met a girl whose picture was in your locket. Fucking adorable. Your daughter, right? That's right, she's my daughter. You know, you were right about this locket. Eh? I took this off the neck the night he died. But it looks like our dear Russian scam artist saw me. So the truth is, the locket did really belong to him. Wait, but that's perjury! You testified and you said that locket was yours. I said no such thing, actually. Huh? I merely said that the locket with my daughter's picture inside. A subtle distinction, but a distinction nonetheless. And it's the truth. Wait, but then why?
Why was the victim wearing a locket with a picture of your daughter inside?
Sometimes the straightest path into the truth is the best one. Just give it time. Fucking my brain is all fucked. You're still getting started with your career. Speaking of which, I may be out of a job. I work for Gavin Law Offices, after all. I still can't believe I just saw Mr. Gavin get led away in handcuffs. Apollo, yes? How about coming to work for me? You mean at the Wright and Co. law offices? I mean, there's not a single attorney in my generation that doesn't know it. I can't imagine that to be true, but... Wait, but you're not a... Oh, I turned in my badge. Yes, I'm not an attorney anymore. That incident 7 years ago, that legendary trial, and in the middle of it was this one man, Phoenix Wright. The case reached its sad conclusion, and he left law for good. Have you ever thought about coming back to the courts? I'm not qualified to stand in a court of law, I'm afraid. Didn't you notice in today's trial, there was a single piece of forged evidence? Forged evidence? What are you talking about? I'm talking about evidence that shouldn't have existed. A naughty magician's trick. One piece of evidence struck me as odd. It's true. It just seemed, well, too perfect. I bet this was the forged evidence. You mean this, don't you? I got this from your daughter, Mr. Wright. Yes, that card couldn't have been found at the crime scene. Why? Because the killer took it with him when he left. Leaving the wrong card in its place. Lucky for us. The court can't accept this evidence. It's a fraud. A fraud? How can you be so sure? Yeah, I would think that the only person who could claim it was a fraud would be the one who took the real card from the crime scene. The real killer. My verdict was already handed down 7 years ago. Then you're really... Yes, I forged this card. The one that the crime scene should have told you wasn't real. But you can't do something like that and call yourself an attorney. Who's calling themselves an attorney, Apollo? So it's true. The rumor is true. 7 years ago. None of that matters much now, does it? I punched him. It's your story from here on out, Apollo. Perhaps I can help you turn the next page. My office is addressed. Drop in if you like. Mr. Wright. Oh, and about your uppercut? I'd try yelling "take that" next time. I find it packs a little bit more punch. And Apollo, thanks for today. I had a good time. That was great! And with that, Mr. Wright walked out the door, and that's how my first trial ended. A lot of mysteries went unsolved, and at the time I had no idea they were all related. Every mystery that day, connected by a single thread of logic. I'd find that out soon enough. My name is Apollo Justice, attorney at law, and this is how my story begins. It's finally over. And that was one of the short ones. But that is it for this new little streaming thing I'm trying out, Phantom Hoodie one-shots. Next week, I'm going to be doing Okami, another Capcom game. But for this, that is all for Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. I might return to the Ace Attorney franchise in these streams with a later game. But who knows? But yeah, that has been all for Apollo Justice Ace Attorney. I will see you all on the next one. Now fuck off.